Folks, we have something very special today to share with you. Like I said, we have a couple VIP guests today, Judge Chuck Pyle and Stephanie Reyna from Second Chance Tucson, and to just share with us a little bit, very briefly, about what Second Chance Tucson does, I'd like to invite up Judge Pyle. Join us. Thank you. You want to come to the lectern right here? Good to have you. Sure.
It's really a delight to be here today. Thank you, Dominic, for the invitation, and thank you, Barbara, for corralling Dominic and making him invite me. So, I'm the executive director, the volunteer executive director of Second Chance Tucson. I'm a retired federal judge. I started this organization in 2014 when I was still on the bench, and our tagline is Successful Strategies for Community Reintegration. And as Dominic said, I was trying to stop this cycle of reincarceration and stopping the cycle of reincarceration of family members. I didn't want to see family reunions in prison. So we put this organization together. In the beginning, it was with Mayor Rothschild, and I got it started. We have 4 subcommittees. I have this brochure. I have some of these brochures if anybody's interested. But instead of going too detailed on what we do, I'll keep bugging Dominic to put stuff in the newsletter about upcoming events. But we have a very successful job fair at the Convention Center every August. We have a community forum every April and Second Chance Month. We have the Speakers Bureau where Stephanie will tell her story to kind of highlight the humanity of people who are involved get involved in the justice system. And then we have a volunteer activities group that Barbara is very involved in, and we are looking forward to a very exciting event in May where we're going to connect nonprofits and justice system involved people into some productive opportunities that they can feel passionate about. So we're looking forward to that. If it's okay, I'd like to tell a quick story about why I'm so passionate about this. You know, there's so much stigma and barriers facing people when they come out of prison. When I was on the bench, I had just a routine day. We had a very heavy calendar over here in Tucson with all the border crime. And so I was taking admissions to probation violations. Most of it involved re-engagement with illegal substances, you know, using dirty urines and that type of thing. So this guy comes in my courtroom, he's all shackled up, he's like 6'2", 210 pounds of pure muscle. I'm sure he was the scariest guy in the holding cell that day. He's all tatted up. And I would let the guys sit because their day was so miserable, so I'd let them sit while I went through the colloquy. So he's sitting there and he's leaning back in the chair and his arms are folded and he's kind of glaring at me like, you know, I'm not afraid of some old white guy in a black robe, you know, it doesn't bother me. And I go through the colloquy and he kind of grunts out his answers. And I say, okay, I accept your admission, we'll set a sentencing date. All this is very pro forma. He's been through it dozens of times. And so we're at the end, and this is where a judge would be tempted to lecture him about, why don't you straighten out your life or something like that, but a rare day I actually did the right thing. So I look at him and say, is there any family here for you today? And he looks up at me like, yes. Well, I could see the family in the gallery. I said, well, sir, who's here for you today? Well, now he has to sit up, put his hands on the table, sit up straight. He says, my mother's here. So he wasn't going to slouch back and act defiant with his mother there. So he says, well, I'm sure you're glad your mother's here supporting you. I'm really glad about it too. That's going to really help you succeed in the future. I said, is anybody else here for you? They said, yeah, well, my girlfriend and my daughter and my son are here. I said, wonderful. I'm glad to hear that. How's your daughter doing in school? He says, my daughter's on the honor roll at her elementary school. And I said, what about your son? I said, well, he's only in kindergarten, but he's doing really good too. Now, the important part of this story is, at this point in time, this guy who everybody would see as nothing but a thug is crying. Okay, and that's not because of something I said. It's something that he realized. There is goodness in these people. I mean, there's a handful of them that are just evil throughout, but there are goodness in almost all of these people. And we cannot order them or direct them into being good. We need to give some opportunities for them to find that goodness and to pursue that direction. So I really greatly appreciate the opportunity to be here. I will warn you now that we'll be trying to connect up with the Church of the Apostle and maybe some volunteer opportunities and stuff. And we look forward to that partnership going forward. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir. And just on the behalf of our congregation here, we love to support folks in the community. This is a gift of $1,500 to Second Chance Tucson. So thank you so much for your work. And please stick around afterward to hear Stephanie's story and some more amazing, truly amazing stuff about the work that these fine folks are doing right here in our community, making this a better place.